You know that feeling. The start of a new quarter. Your performance review lands in your inbox. 12 goals, 12 shiny, non-negotiable targets. Revenue, innovation, compliance, efficiency, teamwork. You glance at them once, twice, and then it hits you. Some of these goals seem to pull you in opposite directions. To hit revenue targets, you're pushed to take more risk. To innovate, you need to break from the old ways. But breaking the rules, that triggers a compliance flag, and that flag stays on your record. So what do? You do the only rational thing. You do nothing. You shrink, you delay, you send that email to legal just for confirmation. You schedule that meeting about the meeting. You become a ghost in the machine, fully employed, fully compliant, and fully frozen. Here's the dirty secret no performance consultant will tell you. The system is not confused. It knows these goals conflict. It just doesn't care, because the purpose of 12 conflicting goals isn't to make you productive. It's to make you accountable for whatever goes wrong in whatever direction you move. You're not paralyzed because you're incapable. It's because the system built a maze with no exit, handed you a map, and called it empowerment. And you know what? You've been trained to think this is how it's supposed to work. Now, when people hit this wall, they usually adopt one of 3 survival postures. None of them end well. Posture 1, the human fortress. You try to satisfy every metric. You work nights, you triple check everything. Your output is pristine, your file is spotless, and your career, it's stationary. I watched a product manager in Palo Alto do this for 2 years. 0 defects, 0 surprises, also 0 promotions. His manager said, "We don't know what he's actually capable of. He's never dropped a ball, but he's never picked one up either." Defensive perfection doesn't signal excellence, it signals fear. And fear is not a promotion criteria. Posture 2, the smart gambler. You read the room, you figure out which 2 goals actually matter and let the rest slide. You optimize for what gets rewarded this quarter. For a while, it works. Then the quarterly theme changes, or the regulator walks in, or a new VP decides to care about that compliance metric you've been ignoring. In London, a trader bet everything on volume. He topped the leaderboard. Then the bank got fined for excessive risk culture. His name was in the internal review. He guessed the right target, he just guessed the wrong era. Your ability to read signals is only as good as the signal's stability. And in a conflicted system, stability is an illusion. Posture 3, the perfection martyr. This one hurts to watch. You internalize the contradiction. You believe that excellence means satisfying all 12 goals, and since that's impossible, you conclude you are the problem. You work harder, you sleep less, you still can't win. In Munich, an engineer spent 18 months on a single design, validating it against every possible metric. 0 defects, 12 for 12. His reward? He was praised, then passed over. His work was unrepeatable. His process was unscalable. The system put him on a pedestal. Then it built a glass case around him and labeled him Exhibit A. But here's the catch. Each of these survival postures comes with a hidden cost. And if you keep following the same patterns, you'll never see the system's true design. Want to know the real play? The one that could change everything? Stick around, because what I'm about to share next will show you how to break free from this cycle. But if you stop watching now, you'll miss the most crucial step. So if fighting, gaming, and self-flagellation all fail, what's the real play? First, you need to stop treating your performance review as a report card and start treating it as intelligence data. You're not being evaluated, you're being profiled, and the profile isn't about you, it's about the system's own contradictions. Here's the tool. 4 diagnostic questions. Write them down. You'll use them every time a new goal set lands on your desk. 1, do any of these goals logically exclude each other? Not hard to balance, logically impossible, like 0 defects and continuous experimentation. If they're mutually exclusive, you're not in a performance system, you're in a trap. 2, is there a formal waiver process? When you inevitably sacrifice goal A to achieve goal B, is there a documented way to say, I made this trade-off intentionally? Or is every metric treated as non-negotiable at review time? No waiver lane means you will be punished for the system's own design flaw. 3, can you predict the consequences of missing a target? If the same miss sometimes gets a warning, sometimes a bonus cut, sometimes a promotion, you're not dealing with standards, you're dealing with weather. And you can't navigate weather with a map. 4, do you control the resources needed to meet the goal? If the responsibility is yours, but the budget, headcount, or approval chain belongs to someone else, you're not the owner. You're the landing pad. Now, here's where you take the pen and map it out. If your answers reveal logical conflicts, no waiver process, random sanctions, and authority that doesn't align, congratulations, you're in a type 2, logical conflict system. This isn't a flaw in the system, it's by design. But you're not stuck, at least not yet. Here's the shift that changes everything. Once you diagnose the system type, you stop asking, how do I satisfy all these goals? That question belongs to the old you, the one who believed performance was about effort. The new you asks, given that this system is structurally conflicted, what is my optimal exposure strategy? This is not cynicism. This is structural literacy. And structural literacy is the only thing that keeps you sane in an institution that has outsourced its contradictions to your job description. So what do you actually do? 2 moves. Move 1, draw the contradiction map. Take your 12 goals. Draw lines between the ones that cannot coexist. Next to each line, write a recent example, a time you had to choose one and let the other slip. This isn't a complaint, it's evidence. It proves that your underperformance on metric B wasn't negligence, it was the necessary cost of achieving metric A. You now have a visual of the system's internal war. Keep it, you'll need it. Move 2, run a single cycle, single goal experiment. Pick one goal that actually matters to the business and to your growth. For 1 quarter, put 70% of your energy there. Keep the others at minimum viable compliance. At the end of the cycle, bring your results to your manager. I prioritized X, Y slipped by this much. Was that the right call? You're not confessing. You're forcing a preference revelation. You're making the system state explicitly what it usually leaves ambiguous. This is not about winning. It's about reclaiming the right to choose. Right now, the system chooses for you by making every direction equally punishable. Your map and your experiment give you back the steering wheel, even if the road is still full of traps. Here's what you need to understand, and I mean really understand. Your fear of mistakes is not a character defect. It's a rational equilibrium. The system designed a game where the expected value of action is negative. So you stopped acting. That's not cowardice. That's game theory. The tragedy is not that you're afraid. The tragedy is that the fear is perfectly justified. The system puts 12 contradictory targets on your desk, not because it expects you to hit them all. It doesn't. It puts them there so that whatever goes wrong, the failure can be assigned to you. The contradiction is never confronted at the top. It's diffused downward, fragmented into 1,000 individual performance reviews, each one a little trial, each one ending with the same verdict: you should have tried harder. But now you know the game, and knowing the game changes your relationship to it. You stop internalizing the failure. You start auditing the architecture. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? You start asking, what kind of system produces this outcome rely across multiple people year after year? That question by itself is a form of emancipation. Which brings me to the next layer. If the system can make you afraid to act by overloading you with contradictory goals, how does it then make you eager to follow? How does it convert your paralysis into enthusiasm, your caution into zeal? That's not motivation, that's calibration. And it's the subject of our next session, L3-22, why you actively conform to your boss's preferences. Because once objective standards collapse, only one compass remains, and it belongs to the person who signs your review.